Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. Y'all know who it is, man. It's the big homie, the OG, the 5-star general. Y'all ready? Let's go. Now we're going to go to this next document. Let me get it up here for y'all. This is a drug detail report. The good doctor was going through some custody stuff with one of the ex-husbands, and the good doctor had to go take a drug test. Well, she took multiple drug tests. Multiple. This is why you don't throw stones at glass houses. She took multiple drug tests, at least 2. The ex-husband took multiple drug tests, at least 2. Here's the problem with the drug test. As you can see, it's been circled. So she's negative on amphetamine. She's negative on cocaine, metabolites. She's positive on marijuana and positive on marijuana metabolites. Negative on opiates. Negative on this other word. I can't pronounce that, y'all. I ain't gonna even try to make myself look bad. So basically, you flunk the drug test because of marijuana. Here's where the problem comes in. Let's read what Aubrey wrote. It's been a long time rumored that Dr. Candice Matthews uses much harder drugs than marijuana. However, according to the National Screening Center, Bruce Jeffries was interviewed on September 9th, 2015 via telephone in regards to Dr. Candice Matthews' positive drug test that you can see above. That was from August 14, 2015. He reported that Dr. Matthews tested positive for marijuana outside of hair and marijuana metabolites inside the body. He stated that the amount was low. However, based on the allegations that Dr. Matthews had sent someone in her place to take the drug test, he requested the chain of custody forms to evaluate Dr. Matthews' signature on the failed drug test to the signature Dr. Candice Matthews provided on an earlier drug test. According to Bruce Jeffries with the National Screening Center, the signature on the failed drug test, where it was alleged Dr. Matthews sent someone to take the test for her, did not match with the hair drug test that was performed by Concentra on April 13, 2015. So his conclusion was that 2 different people had taken the drug test. So the question here is, what was Dr. Candice Matthews trying to hide? He compared the signatures. 2 different people took the drug test. Now, I know I've seen other documents, and the ex-husband did the same thing. So they was doing the same thing. So you got caught with a fake drug test that somebody else took. I told y'all the war zone gonna be off the chain. Let's go back to the article, man. Let's go to the next document. Now, this is what stirred it up in the beginning. All right, y'all ready? This is what stirred it up in the beginning. That Dr. Matthews put out an affidavit on Aubrey from, I think it was a protective order. Don't throw stones at glass houses. Now, I want you to understand something. This is an African-American woman that gets out there and she's in front of the camera, and a lot of days she does a great job. And she gets out there and she battles for women that have gone through things and different things like that. But this is going to be amazing. That's all I can tell y'all. So let's get it up on the screen. I'm going to put it up as big as I can put it, and I'm going to go over here. Let's read this. Before me on the undersigned notary public on this day personally appeared, who being by me duly sworn on oath deposed as, my name is Beverly Guillory, I'm bringing up this application on behalf of myself. The respondent, Candice Hinton, y'all remember that was another name that she had prior to being married, was the ex-wife of my fiance. The respondent currently lives in a separate residence from me. I'm requesting protection for my home address, and it says her address. I'm applying for a protection order for the following reasons. I need y'all to listen. On or about February 3rd, 2015, the respondent called me about 3 times at my job. The respondent is Dr. Candice Matthews. She called Beverly at her job. I worked at Harris County Independent School District. She meant to say the Houston Independent School District. I picked up her calls because I was at work as a receptionist. Dr. Matthews first called around 8:50 a.m. The respondent threatened to kill me, whoever was in the building. Hold on, man. Hold on. You threatened to kill her and whoever was in the building? That was a school. Hold on, let's get to it, baby. Let's get to it. All right. At around 10:02 a.m., Dr. Matthews called again. She asked for me. The respondent stated, I'm on my way to the school to blow that bitch up. The respondent hung up before I can respond. My supervisor told me to leave the school for my safety. I felt scared and worried because I knew the respondent was capable of harming me. The respondent is unpredictable because she has a gun. The respondent also does drugs and drinks alcohol on a regular basis. I reported the incident to the police immediately after I left school. One of my coworkers, Miss Iris, told me that Dr. Matthews called my job again and was asking for me. On or about February 2nd, 2015, the respondent called me at my job around 8:41 a.m. The respondent told me she was coming to my job to whoop my ass. I did not say anything because I was in shock. The respondent then hung up. I reported the incident to the police right away at around 1 a.m. I saw Dr. Matthews in my apartment complex. She was by the fence right by our apartment. I got scared. I notified security of the complex. I also notified the sheriff's department. On February 1st, 2015, Dr. Matthews called my job at 12:21 p.m. Dr. Matthews asked to speak to Beverly Inicio. Nobody knew me by that name but the respondent and my fiance, who was her ex-husband. When I asked who was calling, the respondent hung up. At around 12:47, the respondent called again and said, I got you, bitch. The respondent then hung up the phone. On December 2014, my fiance and I dropped off his child at Dr. Matthews' house. The respondent came towards my car. She started screaming profanities at my fiance. My fiance rolled the window down on my side and told the respondent he was not going to argue with her. The respondent became upset. She reached for me and scratched me in the face. We immediately drove off to calm the situation down. Wow. Hold on, baby. Hold on. Was the dick that good? Let me tell you something, Shaquilla Rambis. I discuss current events. I discuss whether you my friend or whether you my foe. If it comes across, I'm gonna talk about it. So I'm reading right now, and I want to answer your questions, but it is what it is. The threats are ridiculous. How do you, as a person, even fathom somebody saying they gonna go blow a school up? A school behind the deck. For real. Let's keep reading because it get better. It get better. I told y'all that boy shooting M16s. Now, let's go to the next thing. And here's the thing, and I want y'all to remember this. Here's the thing. You started with an affidavit, right? So all he doing to you is what you did to him. But you had too many skeletons in your closet. So let's go and look at the next thing. Aubrey R. Taylor, according to the affidavit you see above, Dr. Candice Matthews is not only a serial liar, menace, stalker, intimidator, bully, and possibly a black widow. She's also a modern day terrorist, a modern day terrorist. How can I say this? Well, on February 3rd, 2015, she called her ex-husband's fiance job at Houston Independent School District. We just went over that. So you can see what he means by her being a terrorist. So now we're going to move on to the next thing. These are the logs, the incident logs from the actual school. So all of this is public record. All of y'all can get this if you know where to look. It's public record. So nothing's been fabricated. Nothing has been, been tampered with. This is all public record. Look at the number of incidents coming from this lady who stands before us and represents our community on a daily basis. Look at these incidents. This is a whole nother log. This is a whole nother log. Okay. That is the actual incident, the police report, they give you the report number. Harassment 2215. All right. This is from the Harris County Sheriff Department when the lady called and reported her at the apartment complex. Stalker. This is actually the temporary protective restraining order cause and show that Beverly did on Candice. So if you can see that, that's the actual protective order. That's the actual protective order. Okay, so let's keep going. It gets better, y'all. It gets better. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This document here is a follow-up report from the VA police. I'm letting you look at the document. So let's read what Aubrey wrote on this particular document here. Okay. I'm struggling to understand why Dr. Candice Matthews is not still locked up in prison somewhere for what she did to her ex-husband, James Inicio. What did she do? Well, this evil, vile, vindictive woman that they call Dr. Candice Matthews either planted or had someone plant drugs on her ex-husband's car at his job at the Veterans Administration, according to the official police report. And then this Dr. Candice Matthews woman called in an anonymous tip to have her ex-husband arrested according to court documents. What the fuck? She tried to set him up and then made an anonymous call to tell the people where the dope was. This in the court documents. Hold on, man. Let's go back and read, man. Ooh, man, this is better than reality TV, man. According to the police, Dr. Candice Matthews either planted or had drugs planted on her ex-husband's vehicle at his job. All right. Why wasn't this woman arrested for this incident? Look, according to the Veterans Affairs Police Department record from April 2015, Dr. Candice Matthews was the culprit in a serious crime. What did she do? I'm about to tell you if you hold your horses. I pulled this information from some official documents regarding the incident that occurred in April 2015. So it was reported by an anonymous female that she had reason to believe there was an employee at the Veterans Affairs that was dealing drugs from his vehicle. The reporter, who ended up being Dr. Candice Matthews, gave the specific information in regards to where they would find the drugs, the license plate number of the vehicle, and where the alleged drug dealer resided. The information provided matched that of the father and ex-husband, James Inicio, Dr. Candice Matthews' ex-husband. When they searched his vehicle, they found drugs in a magnetic box, in magnetic boxes attached to the father's vehicle by the muffler and the windshield wiper. No drugs or drug traces were found in the father's vehicle, according to the police report. And as a side note, the Harris County District Attorney declined to press criminal charges against James Inicio once they traced the anonymous phone call that was placed to them about the illegal drugs back to Dr. Candice Matthews. But don't take my word for it. The officer on the scene noted that the anonymous Dr. Candice Matthews made him believe that she did not personally know James Inicio, which was a lie. She, Dr. Candice Matthews, was in a custody battle with her ex-husband. Candice, is this true? You a rat. And all of y'all out there that's supporting her and wanting to ride for her right now, she a rat. You tried to set this dude up, and the only thing saved him is they traced the anonymous call back to Dr. Candice Matthews. You know how many dudes in jail because somebody did them like that? You know how many people done lost their freedom? And this happened coming from a black woman that stands out in our community every day and say she stands with black women. And this is what you did to this man. You tried to set this man up. You a rat. You a rat. What kind of shit is that? You a rat. Oh man, it get better.